Hi everyone, sorry it's been so long since my last video. I've been busy on a big project I'll soon tell you about, and I've also had a lot of work to do on some of my own cars. One of the big reasons though is up until recently there hasn't been much news to report. But that's all changed now with the announcement of the pricing and configurations of the C8 Corvette for our market. And since that announcement, GMSV has also opened the C8 order books. So stay tuned and I'll run through the specs of the different models and I'll review the pricing, including the disturbing report of what's been said some dealers plan to add to the recommended retail price. Let's start by looking at the entry-level spec for our market. Then we'll work our way up from there. The minimum trim level we can buy locally in right-hand drive is the 2LT spec. I've realised for a while that this is a fair situation. In the car companies, it's known as the cost of entry. If you're selling a car in a certain segment, meaning vehicle type and price bracket, there's a minimum level of content and luxury appointment the buyer expects. And imagine how the local motoring press would rate a car that costs way over 100k that was not fitted out to the appropriate trim level. The 1LT trim level C8, which we're not getting, misses out on items you'd really expect, such as sat-nav, a heads-up display, auto-dimming mirrors and power folding mirrors, as well as luxury items such as heated and vented seats, performance data recorder, Bose premium sound with 14 speakers, wireless phone charging, heated steering wheel, front vision camera, memory package, theft deterrent system, and additional safety features such as blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. These are all in the 2LT. Those safety features I mentioned are particularly important in Australia to obtain a high ANCAP rating. And while the C8 has many built-in safety features, I can't find any mention of things like adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, auto emergency braking, lane departure warning, or lane keeping assist. GM does need to watch out for criticism if these safety features are missing. I saw Chief Engineer Taj Jukta talking about some of these features, which he says were omitted by choice for drivability reasons. But I still wonder how this will go over with the authorities in Australia. But safety features aside, this is a pretty good package and includes all the features you'd expect in a car sold in this price bracket. Now the other package mandated for Australia is the Z51 Track Pack. I've always argued this package is unnecessary in Australia. The car is certainly fast enough, handles well enough, brakes well enough and has enough engine cooling and aero downforce for spirited use on our local speed-limited roads without the Z51 pack. This track pack is really for those who want to run the car on club-type track days, not for your 110 kph max speed Aussie roads. But having said that, I must admit it's a pretty impressive package of performance options. And we know it's taken up by some 70% of US buyers. I guess we all like to know our car is capable of a very high level of performance, even if we'll never use it. It's just human nature, I guess. However, the Z51 package will be on our cars, and I guess that's no different to other supercars sold here, which all have performance capabilities far beyond what we can legally use on our roads. The downside, however, is that we'll be paying something like $12,000 for the privilege. There's nothing wrong with the pack, but how much do you want to pay for something you're unlikely to ever use? Maybe one day in the future, we'll have the option of buying a C8 without Z51. There's two other mandatory options on our base C8. First, there's the magnetic ride option, which allows us to change between a soft and a harsh ride just by clicking a switch. This is definitely needed to overcome that harsh ride that comes with Z51, so that's a good thing. Secondly, we'll get the nose lift option, which I really think is a must-have. How often do you guys scrape the nose of your vet on a driveway, or on a hump, or on something else? As I'm sure most of you know, the 2LT C8, including Z51, magnetic ride and nose lift, has an RRP, recommended retail price, of $144,990. If you want to upgrade to the 3LT trim, which basically gives you a luxury interior upgrade, it will cost you $160,500, or some $15,000 more than the 2LT. For this, you'll get a custom leather-wrapped interior, GT2 bucket seats, Napa leather seating surfaces, and suede microfiber wrapped upper interior trim. And if you choose the convertible version of either of the two trim levels, you pay an extra $15,000. There will also be a limited edition launch version called the Carbon Edition. This has a package of various carbon fibre enhancements plus other appearance options at an RRP of $189,990, or $30,000 on top of your regular 3LT coupe. This is obviously aimed at buyers who want to collect a car for the first Australian right-hand drive Corvette. So now let's see how the price adds up. You may have seen my equivalent pricing formula before. I won't go through all the detail again here, but let me summarise. I've been to the US C8 website and used the car build feature to price an equivalent 21 model C8 with all the options we're getting here. The 22 pricing isn't yet available on that website, but I'll allow for that at the end of the calculation. The price I've come up with for the vehicle is US $78,680, which converts to just over 106,000 Aussie dollars. Now I need to add the shipping cost, which I've put in as $5,000, and that makes a total of $111,000. The 10% GST goes on top of the shipped price, taking the total up to $125,000. And as there's no import duty on cars from the US, this would be the price of the car if it weren't for the LCT. But there is LCT, and that brings the total up to $140,182 Aussie dollars. Although the 2022 pricing calculator is not yet available on the US C8 website, we do know the 22 2LT coupe pricing starts at $2,495, higher than the 21 price. If you convert that difference to Aussie dollars and add GST and LCT, I get an additional price of 4,500 Aussie dollars, making GMSV's RRP just about spot on, and we can't complain about that. But I'm afraid that's not the end of the story. Australia's Which Car website reports they have seen dealer documentation showing the drive-away price for the 2LT coupe as $187,990, which is a massive $43,000 above GMSV's RRP. So how can this be? This extra is the so-called on-road costs. It's comprised of statutory state government costs of stamp duty, registration, and compulsory third-party insurance. Then from the dealer, there's the so-called dealer delivery fee to count the cost of getting the car ready for the customer. Going to the government website and using their calculator, the costs we pay through Vic Roads come to less than $12,000. This leaves a dealer fee of some $30,000 for the cost of preparing the car. I must add that this dealer fee is subject to LCT, so the dealer's share of that is $22,500. So what does the dealer do for the money? Well, the biggest thing they do is clean and detail the car. Let's allow a ridiculously high fee of $1,000 and double it to $2,000. Let's do the same thing for fitting the number plates. I'll allow $100 and double it to $200. They'll also do a check to see if everything works okay. Let's allow an hour at $150 and double it to $300. But don't worry about the dealer needing to fix anything. If there's something to fix, GMSV will either pay for it or do it themselves, so there's nothing to add there. And finally, there's a tank full of fuel to supply. I'd suggest $100, but I'll double that to pay for any time involved in going and filling it up. Adding those amounts together, I get a total of $2,700, but remembering how I got to that number, you'd be excused for saying it shouldn't cost more than $1,000 for the dealer delivery fee. But even allowing the $2,700, it's been reported the charge will be more than 8 times that amount. Let's be realistic. If the reports are true, the dealer's not charging a delivery fee, but a supplementary profit fee. And that's what's been reported as seen on dealer documentation by Which Car. What more do I need to say? Okay, what is a fair on-road price to pay? Let's take the RRP of $144,990, add the statutory charges of $12,000 and the dealer delivery fee of $2,700, plus LCT of $900 on the delivery fee, and it all comes to $160,590. I'm really interested to see what people are actually being quoted. GMSV has told us the following. We've become aware of some proposed dealer pricing for the new right-hand drive C8 Corvette. Corvette RRPs reported earlier this year were exclusive of model year 22 option pricing, on-road and statutory charging, but as you would understand, it's up to each GMSV dealer to determine the final drive-away price, including dealer delivery fee. Excessive fees are not in keeping with our brand ethos, and whilst we don't provide direction to our dealer network, we believe that in the main our network are keen to support us in building the GMSV brand. Now, I know consumer laws in Australia don't allow a wholesaler to direct a retailer what to charge for an item, as I learned in my extensive GM training, and as GMSV has rightly pointed out. But my training also told me that likewise a group of retailers, in this case dealers, can't get together and agree on a price they will charge. We can only hope that the majority, or at least most of the dealers, do the right thing. Time will tell. GMSV also offered the following reassuring statement. For customers thinking they will miss out, we would like to remind them that this is just the first shipment of vehicles to arrive in the country, and there will be additional allocations. I've got to say, I'm happy to hear this. Many people have asked me this question, so there's the answer. Finally, if you're buying a C8, I'd love to hear what you're being quoted. You can let me know anonymously in the comments section below. I've given you my thoughts on the local C8 packages and pricing. Now it's up to you. I'm anxiously waiting to hear what the dealers will add to the RRP of the C8, and I'm looking forward to your feedback on this. As we get closer to seeing the C8 in Australia, I'm sure there'll be plenty to report. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and stick with my channel for the news and views on the upcoming Australian right-hand drive C8. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be informed whenever a new video is posted. But for now, keep on vetting, and I hope to catch you again real soon.